Okay, so I had just shut off my stream and I was over here trying to eat my cold pizza. And then they said about Ivana Trump, and I took out my things and I said, let me listen to what the cause of death is. And I'm reading it more than hearing it because I have the closed captioning on. And it says it was accidental death. And it says blunt force, and I'm like, oh no. They're gonna try to blame my favorite president. And then they're like, oh, she was found at the bottom, I think, of a spiral staircase. And I went, the staircase. Now, I haven't watched the dramatic interpretation, but I had loved the documentary, The Staircase. That was the actual people and the actual thing that happened. And that's one of those you never knows. You know what I mean? And I never felt they proved it, so I was on the side of him, not the husband in that case, the father. You gotta prove it, you know what I mean? But now I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna say President Trump was watching The Staircase. You know what I mean? I hope they don't do that, but I was just like, oh no. Because nowadays, you can't hear that anybody died who wasn't sickly, who was involved in politics in any way, without thinking something's up. Now, I'm not saying, what I'm saying is I wouldn't be surprised, like, I don't know what happened, but people who want him to be in serious trouble are going to do anything to get him in serious trouble, so people could frame him or something like that. And I'm coming out of nowhere with this. It's just the world has become such a crazy place. Who knows what they're going to say, but I was sitting here, and then, like, blunt force, I'm like, what? And it says injuries to her torso, and I'm like, and then they said at the bottom of the staircase, and I was just like, oh no, not the staircase. I hate spiral staircases. My whole life, I don't know how to walk on them. But, I hope nobody says anything, but that was the first thought in my head. I had just been doing my stream, and I'm like, why did I shut it off? Because I was like, oh my god, please don't. I have not been paying attention to all these cops killing people stories because it's too much. I can't pay attention to all of them, and the thing is, cops have always been bad, so. Anybody who gets any kind of power, it's a coin toss. It's a coin toss whether they're going to abuse it or not. And when you have power and fear, and I think that's what's really the difference with cops now. Like I said, however they've been trained over the last 20 years has been to remove a threat. Not to say, okay, here's a human being in front of me. They may be crazy. They may be going through something. They may be on drugs. You know, let me think for a minute. It's to react quickly to remove a threat, so that, you know, so you shoot to kill, but you don't shoot to kill that many times. I can't imagine why. But back in the old days, there were cops, and they had guns, and they were criminals, and they were probably crazier, and they were probably beating up cops and everything else, you know, back in this. And I'm not saying they weren't bad cops back then, but not like this. And like I said, it's the training to shoot to kill because you got to remove a threat. And it's like, but yeah, then people are dead. And people who didn't ever want to murder somebody. And it's taken the humanity out of everything. So, but I think that makes cops afraid, because I think you have a lot of people now, when people get their jobs, nobody gets their jobs because, well, some people probably do. Most people get a job because they want to have a nice, stable life. So you get a bunch of teachers who don't like kids, or they're not good at teaching. They just wanted the security of having a steady job so they could raise their family. Or people who do whatever, all those normal steady jobs that you get and you keep for your whole entire career, and then you're able to retire early and have a pension. When people going into those jobs now, their mind is on their family, and you know, their mind is, I want to fight crime, I want to clean up the streets. That's what. So you get people who maybe aren't that tough, but they've been trained a lot, and now they have a gun in their hand. And they've been trained to do certain things, so they don't even get to think in the moment. It becomes sort of muscle memory combined with fear, and that's why I think these things happen. Yeah, there's probably some racists out there too. But And it would make more sense for, you know, if people don't grow up together and have all different kinds of friends, and then they hear statistics or something, they may be more afraid of a certain kind of person. So for me, it's all a fear-based thing again. But this world. Okay, let me shut up now. I can't believe the news is doing this to me today. Crazy. I haven't done any streams, and I'm gonna have to give back the internet thing tomorrow. It's just like,